recording there.
Yep.
Good on mine. All right, bet. So, welcome back to the Be Alive podcast. It's your boy K Sloan here with a legend in the city. I'ma say it now, a legend in the city, Michael Cummings. Man, introduce yourself to the people.
Man, my name is Michael Cummings. Like Kerry said, I'm from Killeen, just like he is. Graduated 2011. Went on to play at the University of Kansas. Went on to work at the University of Kansas, and also other collegiate institutions. And now I'm back home, involved in real estate.
Yes, sir.
I'm also a budget analyst. So,
yeah.
We're here to uplift.
Appreciate you being here, brother. Appreciate you being here.
It's all mine.
Yes, sir. And so, real quick, as a brief overview, what we do here on the Light Leadership Series is we bring in former, current athletes to come and share their experiences as far as life and sports, because we know that that's it's a fuzzy area, right? It's an area that a lot of people got different feelings about, because it's like they always tell you that sports translates to life. Like, they always tell you that everything that you learn through the game, you should be able to transfer over to life, but it's not as simple as explained, because if you don't give me instructions on how to do that, then sometimes it's kind of hard for me to do that if I don't have anybody to guide me through that process. And you being on some of the fronts you've been on, you've seen that firsthand. And also, even though we're talking about athletes and we're talking about sports, this could apply to anybody's life. This is stuff that, we've gone through. Our experiences are all our own. These are truthful, honest, and we're going to keep it 100% funky with y'all. So y'all in for a treat today. But, man, I guess we could kind of start out, man. I guess I started out with my background, and I let Mike kind of roll into his, because being from here, I ended up graduating from Harker Heights High School in Killeen, Texas. I ended up going and playing Division I football at Montana State University, where I played running back, played a lot of special teams. Didn't get a lot of burn right away because I was deemed ineligible by the NCAA. Yeah, it was wild.
Was it like a initial eligibility thing, or was it?
Nah, so it was it was, because my freshman year English class was ineligible. It was a double. Gotcha. I doubled it up. So the fact that I doubled it up, they deemed me ineligible going into fall camp.
Okay.
So I ended to play fall camp, fell back on the depth chart, and then I never really recovered from that. Then I got hurt to my ACL. Long story short, left. Had a kid and left. Then I went Cisco Junior College, Hardison University, where I graduated with my master's. Had a lot of success there and all that good stuff. But perseverance. Had to find a way through it. But it wasn't that simple though. Success ain't no straight line. It's you go all the way around. So now I'm a teacher, also doing the podcast, also doing speaking engagements, also taking care of my beautiful daughter. That's my most important job. So, a lot of different things going on in my life. But Mike, let us know about your athletic career, because I remember, back in the Gap, you was that dog out here, at quarterback. I remember. Yeah. So let us know. And by the way, just for everybody, this was my first quarterback I ever had. That was the first. You don't know this, but you was the first quarterback I ever had. And quick story, I remember we was doing Oklahoma drills, and I had to go against you. And that was the first time I went head to head with somebody that got a headache. And I was like, this supposed to be the quarterback, bro. I was like,
you was out there 7 years old getting concussions.
Lightweight concussions, boy. It was normal, though.
It
was normal. But go ahead and give people a background on your athletic career.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna give you the truth, but the other truth is I rarely talk about athletics, because a lot of times when people tell their athletic stories, they lie.
Facts.
And when I get into telling my story, it sounds like a lie, but it's the 100% truth.
Yeah.
So, like Kerry said, we used to play Pop Warner here in Killeen. Going into high school, I started doing summer track, and I was really good in the field events. Running was not my thing. So by the time I got to high school, I was already a national champion.
Yeah.
Ended up starting as a sophomore here in the city. Pretty much turned the program around, to put it modestly. On my high school team, I was the only person that signed a letter of intent and actually played at the place that they signed to. So to put that into perspective, you'll rarely ever see a quarterback be the only person on this team that signs a national letter of intent. There's always a lineman, there's always his star receiver, his star back, a DB that held the other side of the ball down. But that hardly ever happens. Yeah. You know that hardly ever happens.
Hardly.
And to sign a national letter of intent coming out of Killeen to a big-time school like Kansas, Montana State, bro, it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
It's rare. And
not so much now, though.
Yeah, not so much now because the landscape is different.
The landscape different.
So, like, when we were coming out, I had to make DVDs. I still have boxes of DVDs that were mailed out. But now kids can just put their stuff on YouTube, Twitter, send their huddle out. It's so much easier to get the exposure, but that also means that the landscape is saturated.
Facts.
So it's a double-edged sword. They have more access to be discovered, but just like music and movies and radio, it's a lot of people putting bad content out there.
Absolutely. And they be faking, bro, you know what's crazy? Bro, tell me why I heard that a kid took his teammates' film and was sending his teammates' film as him.
I believe it.
Don't do that no more if you're doing that. Anyway, I gotta go there.
I believe it.
That's whack.
Nah, you good? So, I got to the University of Kansas, and within a year, the coach that had recruited me got fired. And they brought in another guy, a big name guy, and he ended up putting me on the back burner and brought in 2 more quarterbacks that he used to coach at different schools. Yeah. And so like I battled that throughout my athletic career, and it showed me that just because you're good enough doesn't mean that you're going to get the nod in college. Just because you're good enough doesn't mean that you're going to get an opportunity to try out for a pro team or make a roster. Because the 2 guys whose positions I took both got opportunities in the NFL and I didn't. So I know a lot of people like just say politics, but it's deeper than politics because it's a whole different landscape you got to navigate. And coming from where we come from, we don't know how to do that. Because there was nobody ahead of us to give us the game and show us, this is how you do this. This is who you need to talk to. You need to have a relationship with this guy, and this lady. So when the time comes, they can look out for you.
Because that's everything. That's everything. That the relationships that you build with the people around you in that space when you go to a Kansas and you come into that university, the people that you know on campus is huge in regards to how far you're going to end up going.
Okay, I'll give you a little something. So the relationships you build are so pivotal, and here's a story. When I was playing, the alumni would always come back and they would watch practice, and we would get to build relationships with those guys. So long story short, as I transitioned out of playing at the University of Kansas, I was looking for a job. And the guy who ended up giving me the nod for my position working at this bank just so happened to be a football alumni. So he gave me the privilege of sitting in on executive meetings when I otherwise would not have had the opportunity. Just by the relationship that me and him had. Right? So his dad started the bank. He managed the bank and ended up selling his bank while I was working there, right? So one day I'm in his office and we're talking, and the next day he's signing a deal for it, and he's walking away with $140 million. But he still drives the same car. Still live in the same house. But now his family is good. Because everything changed.
We not used to that.
Not used to that at all.
Because if my family get $140 million, I'm finna see a brand new car. They gone. They finna be rocking big chains. They finna be out here. New house. Bought a house for mama, grandmama, everybody. So that's an exposure thing too. So you talking about the relationship that you built and how that's taking you and exposing you to something else.
Something that I wasn't even going to Kansas for. Like took me and changed my perspective to something totally different that I wouldn't have anticipated going into it, bro. Like I never would have wanted to work at a bank. I never would have been able to sit in on those meetings if it wasn't for the relationship that I built in presenting myself in a certain way.
Because you was playing quarterback. I mean, you knew you was playing football. You knew that was your focus, and that was going to be something like I'm going to lead. Like, you know what I mean? I'm preparing my mind to be, Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? Like you seeing the guys and you focusing on the game, which is beautiful. because it teaches you work ethic, it teaches you drive, and it builds these connections for you. But there's a whole nother game that's being played out here that if we don't necessarily let our kids know that's in the game right now, or let the current athletes know that when you get out of this is what you're going to be confronted with. You know what I mean? There's cats out here that's making 140 million and you don't know it.
And they don't have anything to do with athletics.
It ain't got nothing to do with athletics. It ain't got nothing. And there's another way though. There's another way, because cats be thinking there's only one way. It's either it's going to be either entertainment or athletics. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Which is why it's so beautiful. And this is a beautiful segue into what you got going on as far as the program that you're building. So give everybody kind of like some oversight, because I think a lot of former athletes like myself, I can attest to being at a point where, you know, I graduated and it's like, I don't want to go pro. Like I was like, I'm not finna fight the pro circuit. Like all of my dogs out there doing that, you keep grinding, man. But chase that, real talk. But that wasn't in my cards because I knew my body was going to let me down. Like I seen it time and time again. So I was like, how do I get my mind to bless me? Yeah. How do I get my mind to take care of all of us? Because I heard a great man say, I think it was Marcus Garvey. He said, men walk on their feet and on their minds. So I'm like, okay, that helped me out. Cause I thought I could walk on my feet. Now I know I can use my mind to take me somewhere. So it's like, break down like, you know, the development, right, of these athletes after the sport and what you plan on doing with them, bro.
Yeah, for sure. So the program I have going on is called Real Sports Life University. Yeah. RSL University if you want to go look it up. But it centers around taking the athlete experience and exposing that athlete to the things that they've developed through a lifelong career of athletics that now make them marketable in the professional space.
Thanks.
So like, as an athlete, you always have to be conscious of time management. Yep. You have to do due diligence. Yep. You have to, I was gonna say cross-contaminate. You got to be able to cross-reference with other teams and report to executives, which are your coaches.
Yes.
So like, you know how to develop executive reports if you ever broken down film. Yep. You know, I'm not gonna give y'all everything, but that's just some of the things that you develop through a life of athletics that you have no idea are transitionable and make you valuable to organizations. Yeah. So
yeah, and that's something that's critical, because a lot of times they feel like their value is only in the sport.
Facts.
Like you think your value isn't going to be cross-disciplinary. Like it's not like I learned anything about how to read a defense. Like I don't know how to read the report. Like nah, bro, it's the same thing. The X's and O's translate. And depending on the type of coaching you've had, the leadership you've been around, you much more equipped than some of the people that you putting above you because you think that, oh, I don't have the experience. No, you have experience. It just looks different. Like you have to reframe your mindset. So it's beautiful that you're doing that, bro, because it's needed.
Yeah, it's definitely needed. And the mindset thing is the first thing that we address. Yeah. There are some specific things in the first part of the programming that hone in on mindset and really shift the way in the lens that you look at things through, because it's all about perspective. Yeah. You could have all the attributes in the world, but if you don't know what lens to look at them through and form them with, they don't mean anything.
They don't mean nothing. They don't mean nothing. You got everything you need. You got all the tools you need right now.
All the tools.
You got that makes me think about like credit. Like the way, you know, right now credit is a big, you know, everybody teaching online. Everybody teaching online. So if you're on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everybody teaching. If you want to find it, you can find it. And I've been looking at like different teachers on credit and the way they talk about how you can leverage credit cards to pay for each other. You know what I'm saying? And to get yourself out of debt on student loans and stuff like that. And I was always told, like, be afraid of credit. Like, you know, don't get no credit card. You don't need that. Yeah. But it's like, you know, I'm talking to people that got bad credit. They don't really, you know what I mean? Like, these people I love, but they don't really know. And I think having professionals that look like me, that did some of the stuff I done, tell me stuff like this would help. Like, it would help to kind of guide me along, because like I said, bro, it's like these things we've learned, they work together. Like all the hard work I've done in studying film and studying athletes, man, I can study the leaders today. Yeah. The leaders of social media are given the same type of game. If you sit down and just really study it, you can really get yourself some money. Yeah. And you can make yourself a career out of it. So
you definitely can. And the thing about the credit and the teachers online and everything like that, being an athlete, you have to learn how to sift through what's for you and what's not.
Yeah.
So even in that game, studying on social media and online, looking at YouTube videos and going down certain rabbit holes to try to seek out certain information.
Yeah.
You got to have a certain level of discernment.
Yeah, absolutely.
To realize what is actually applicable and what is fluff.
Right, because as you said, oversaturated.
Yeah.
The more you get something, the more oversaturated it gets. That's why the dollar ain't worth nothing. Right? That's why the dollar ain't worth nothing.
Huh?
Yeah. Bitcoin. Big man, they ain't doing too high right now though. They ain't doing too high. But they said like 38,000 for down from like 54.
Imagine if you had like 100 bands just to put in Bitcoin and watch it go back up.
Man, that'd be.
Imagine, bro. I don't mean to cut you off, but when I was in college, I got an offer to do a camp for an undisclosed amount of Bitcoin, and I turned it down.
Why you turn it down?
Bro, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was.
Man, you kicking yourself in the butt, boy.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It'll come back to me.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
It'll come
But
back.
Bitcoin is but it's like you gotta have the information though. People was having the information. Like my aunt was teaching Bitcoin like back in 2008, bro. Like my aunt was teaching it back then. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? And then it just depends, like we talked about before, your exposure. Mm-hmm. Are you exposed to it or are you not?
Yeah.
And I think what when it comes to what we're talking about, this Light Leadership Series, dealing with, you know, us both being former athletes, both you coach, you coaching at KU, right?
Yep.
You're the player coach at KU. I was coaching for 4 years at OPSU and Hardin Simmons University. But when we are in contact together, right, at the athletic department, let's go ahead and say everybody, we ain't talking about football. Mm-hmm. The conversations that are had with coaches aren't always about, you know, the advancement of us outside the game. Because you and I talked about earlier how all of our time is accounted for. Like, we don't have any time. When you're an athlete, you have no time to yourself. Literally, from the time you wake up, the time you go to sleep, you're supposed to be doing something, right? So
people don't understand that. So look, just to segue, to give, like, if we got some young athletes that are watching this, this is an example of what your schedule is going to be like freshman year.
Break it down.
So you get up, you might have weights at 6.
Yeah.
So that means you're waking up 5:30, 5:15 to be at weights, dressed and in your stretch lines by 6 a.m.
Yes, sir. You
get out of there 7:30-ish, 7:45. You might have class because you're a freshman, so you have like a strict workload of classes you got to get done in that first semester.
Yep.
And if you come in behind, it may be 15 or even 18 hours.
Yep.
So you going in class at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
You got class from 8 o'clock to 9:50.
Yep.
You got class from 10 to 11:50. Mm-hmm. Then you got class from 12 to 1:30.
Yep.
Your first meeting starts at 2 p.m. in a football facility. So either you not eating lunch or you getting something on the run so you can be in that meeting chair before it get 2 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Because if you late, you're going to be either running after practice, some kind of punishment.
Yeah.
Right? So you meet from 2 o'clock to 3:30.
Yep.
You're on the field at 4:15.
Yep.
You're practicing from 4:15 to 7 o'clock, 7:30.
Yep. Depending on who your coach is.
Depending on your coaches. And if you're a freshman when I was there, you're in tutoring until 10 o'clock every night.
Yes, sir.
So you got a chance to eat dinner 7:30. You might get to the training table. You got to be in this tutoring facility at 8 o'clock. You there till 10 o'clock every night.
Every night. You better be there too.
And notice I didn't say it was no time to go back and do homework. You tutoring for classes that you have tomorrow. So you still got to go home and do the homework for the classes you had today.
Yep.
And then you get up and do it all over again.
Yep. And then you got to try to fit in a social life in the mix of all of that. Which is almost... that was impossible. You want to try to have a little girlfriend or something. She'll be texting you like, hey, come on. Nah, not tonight. You gonna fall asleep on that one. But it's that they build it so that you are, you know, you get used to that pattern. Mm-hmm. Used to that pattern. Right. And as you develop and mature, then you may be able to take some of your workload off, but you still are accounted for. Like, you are still always accounted for. Yeah. And you have to prepare yourself, especially when it comes to like being somebody that can do for yourself. You have to prepare yourself to make your own schedule. Mm-hmm. Like, because, I mean, the higher you go, the more they kind of monitor that. But I played at the Division III level, Mike, and it's a little different because after, you know, that 3 o'clock, like I hit about 3 p.m., I have practice, and then that runs till about 7, and then we're done. I had to go to work.
Okay.
I had to go to work because we wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting that check no more. That was a rude awakening. Come on, man! Like, bro, I gotta pay this rent.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure that at the time I had a daughter, so I had to shoot money back. So I was like, man, I gotta work, and that's the D3 like struggle. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing. I think it teaches a hard work ethic, but at the same time, it's a type of mindset you gotta
a lot of balance.
Yeah, it's a lot of balance. So you gotta be a lot more mature than your peers.
Yeah.
Because your partners is partying. Like if you got partners that's not athletes, they partying, they going and they got other things going on, they going out of town, all that. You're gonna be on campus. You're gonna be grinding. And I think after so long of that, you gain a connection with your brothers and your sisters on campus, right? Mm-hmm. You gain a connection. You feel like some of the people on campus, even father figures, mother figures to you, and then you leave. And then there settles in that, okay.
It's the reality.
Yeah, it's like, what next?
Yeah.
Now it's like, what next? And it's important to be able to know that you are equipped. You know what I'm saying? Like you have built connections, leverage those connections, right? Leverage those connections, but at the same time, if you go somewhere that you don't have as many, you still have skills as well. The skill sets that you gain, to be able to get up at 6 o'clock all week long, that's something that's valuable at certain jobs, because some cats can't get up.
And it's good that we learned that in college, because most people in college can't do that.
Yeah, facts.
Because they've been out all night the night before, and they don't even wake up until 15 minutes before their 10 o'clock class.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And then even if we were to go out, we still gotta be up. If you go out, that's just an L you're gonna have to take. You're gonna have to go up. Bro, you're gonna have to go on 3 hours of sleep and get to that workout.
Man, how many times you get your teammates like, hey, bro,
bro, it be people in there smelling like last night.
Yep, bands on their wrist still.
They came straight from the club and fell asleep in the facility.
Hey,
because they knew they was gonna be late.
But you had to take care of your business though.
Yeah,
there was a level of accountability, and I think that something else that we miss as athletes when we got out of the game is that team aspect. Is that knowing that you got somebody relying on you. Like that was a very tough reality for me. It's like, man, I don't got a whole band of brothers behind me no more. It's like I'm doing what I'm doing. It's really just me and mine, which is cool. I could do it, but it's like it kind of moves you more. When you know, man, I can't let all of them down. All these, I can't let all of them down. And I think that's where it comes into play, where you have to cement yourself in the community outside of just the game. You have to be able to build those connections, bro, and protect yourself in that way.
And I think it goes to say this, that the community that you ingratiate yourself in is so important. Yeah. Because when you at school playing ball, y'all kind of got some of the same goals. Y'all at least moving in the right direction when it comes to this football. Yeah. But when you get out in the real world, it's so easy to fall in the wrong direction and get running with the wrong crowd. Nice. And you don't even notice it, don't even see it, because you're like, man, these dudes with me, my teammates was with me. Yeah. But it's different. It's different. It's different. It's way different, because their experiences are different and their motivations might be different. Thanks. And you might be the sacrifice, for lack of a better word, for them to keep doing what they doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you gotta know where you stand. You gotta know morally where you stand. Right. You gotta have the intelligence and the intellect to say, man, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not on that. And that's hard for a lot of people, because again, when you in a team environment, you sacrifice yourself. You get used to sacrificing yourself. And when you get in the real world, it more often takes a person to think about yourself, to take care of yourself, to make sure you're good.
It's a different focus.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's selfish when you're on a team. It's like, man, you think about yourself, you being selfish. What about us? Yeah. But then, when you kind of get to, and that's why, bro, what we was talking about earlier, the mindset I think that we really need to instill is take care of your health. Take care of your finances, take care of your education, and make sure you take ownership, right? Ownership. This is mine. Hey, what I got, what I've done, it's all mine, and I'm going to grow it from here. Yeah. This is mine. Even if I'm on a team or whatever. So for the young cats, you got teammates, You got educators around you. You got coaches around you. Take ownership in everything they gave you and keep it. Keep it. Don't lose it when you go to a new team or when your coaches get fired. Like, nah, that's yours now. Like, that's your information. I still have information in my head from Brian Wright, my offensive coordinator at Montana State, one of the smartest dudes I ever ran into, just trying to teach me about organization. You know what I'm saying? Like, teaching me how to be a man and take care of my business on a more organized tip so that I could, execute. Like, I remember stuff like that, and you got to own that stuff because sometimes as a young buck or as an athlete, we get told, we always get told what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't notice that we're used to commands. Like, you're used to being commanded what to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're used to somebody saying, like, hey, go run this play. All right, bet, got you. You know what I'm saying? You go run the play.
You know exactly what to do.
You know exactly what to do.
You could drop a whole play just by one word.
One word.
Yeah.
And you know all the adjustments, you know everything to it because they taught it to you. It's a programming. And the programming is beautiful because it allows you to it allows you to learn how to problem solve and deal with adverse situations. But the knock on it is when you program like that is you just kind of rely on the program.
Right. It's hard to, like you said, shift from that team mindset programming where I know what to do in this greater puzzle versus now you're the puppet master of your own life.
Facts.
So like now you're the person that makes the puzzle. You're not a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You make the puzzle.
Yeah.
The puzzle is what you make it. So I mean, you're right. You spot on. You spot on.
Yeah, you the person that make the puzzle. And being somebody now, so you moved into the entrepreneurial space. Right?
Yeah.
So you in that space. Tell me what that's been like as far as with that adjustment we're talking about. What's that been like and how's your mindset had been around developing that part of your life?
Man, it's been humbling and it's been eye-opening because like you said, coming from a space where everything is organized and jumping into entrepreneurship, it's not organized at all. And
you ain't got nothing.
And even when I first got into real estate, being a real estate agent, I was in a place where I wasn't really learning much.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I'm not learning much here, I might as well just go out on my own and be this freelance agent and figure it out by cutting my teeth.
Yep.
And that was eye-opening. But the humbling part, bro, was this. When I was a real estate agent and I wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like, I hop in real estate, the clients are just gonna come. And all I gotta do is be there and show up every day. But it wasn't like that. So I wasn't making any money. So the humbling part was I had to take a step back and be like, you know what? I don't know how to do this. I need to seek out some mentors that can teach me how to do this. But also, since I'm not making any money doing this, I gotta put my pride to the side and get another job doing something else until I can get this up and running.
You got to. Because if you don't, then what?
Then you just keep falling behind. Because the time ain't gonna stop. It's not gonna stop for anybody. So,
and I hear a lot of cats talk about that with real estate too. It's like there comes that point where you eat what you kill in real estate.
100%.
So it's like y'all. It's like you have to stay on it. You gotta stay on it.
You gotta have a system, bro.
You gotta have a system. That's. I mean, do you think that it's beneficial to have somebody that kind of lays that out for you? Unless you walk into something, like what we're talking about, or is it like, no matter what, you're going to have to figure out what works best for you?
I think it's both. It's good to have that, like a foundation of somebody showing you what works, but you also got to tailor it to what works best for you at the same time, because you can't copy somebody else's sales script and not change it at all.
Gotta change it.
Because you're going to sound like a robot, so you have to tailor it to your mannerisms, how you normally speak. What you normally pick on when you talk to somebody, I might pick up on something that somebody else might not. So I need to add that to my sales script, even though it's not in theirs. Man,
can you touch on that real quick for us? What you mean by that? Like give me like a
example. Me and you sitting here talking.
Yeah.
Like 90% of communication is nonverbal.
Yes,
like if you notice, when me and you go back and forth, you put your hands on the table, I put my hands on the table.
Yeah.
I lean back, you'll keep your hands on the table, then you might lean back. Because most of the communication is stuff that's not said.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So like I pick up on things that somebody else might not. And being able to, this message, being able to articulate yourself well and speak to everyone that you might encounter is an invaluable skill.
Invaluable. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Invaluable skill.
Absolutely.
We were talking about building those relationships earlier, and that is one of the things that I feel like the youngsters coming up, they don't necessarily know how to do, because their parents didn't put them in front of people that they was in the military with and be like, you need to introduce yourself. You need to look him in the eye when you shake his hand. You know what I'm saying? Yep. They don't necessarily do those things. So most of their communication is over the web and with their fingertips. Yep. So when it comes to speaking and articulating themselves, they don't necessarily know how to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you said about communication being a lot nonverbal. Mm-hmm. And like you said, if I don't know how to communicate, a lot of it may be the nonverbal stuff I'm doing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm shying away from making eye contact. And I come in the room, I put my head down.
I do not like that at all.
Bro, it's people don't understand that you are exhibiting a lack of self-confidence. Like, if you show me that and you're trying to come work with me, you showing me that I can't really believe it.
You out of there.
Yeah, you out of there. Like, you gonna mess the money up.
Either you too shy or you untrustworthy.
Exactly. One of the two. Either you lying.
Yep.
Or you're not gonna have the cojones to make the move. So either way, it's like, I can't do nothing with you. But you know, I think that this era is a little bit different, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate sounding like that, like an old head, like, you know, the era talk. But I mean, it is like it's when you behind a computer or a cell phone, it's a different communication. I'm not gonna say that it's not necessary to have digital literacy, because it is. Like, sure, you need to know how to communicate on the phone. Like, if you got a cell phone, there's no reason why you can't advance forward in life. Like, you should be on that. Shoot, we linked up on IG. You know what I'm saying? We already knew each other, but we linked up on IG. And it's like, there's a lot of opportunities on the phone. But when you get in contact with people, you have to continue to be able to communicate. Mm-hmm. You don't start. Like, it's like, I was listening to somebody talk about, like, how cats be seeing a girl now, and they'll let the girl leave and go find the girl on Facebook, shoot her a message.
Sure.
Like, bruh, what?
It's terrible, but that's them now.
That's them now.
And like you said, I don't think it's a bad thing, but you gotta know how to do both.
You gotta do both.
That's the bottom line.
You gotta do both. You gotta be able to do multiple things. Mm-hmm. You gotta multiple streams of impact, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? We gotta talk about income, but you gotta be able to impact people in different ways. And I think, like I said, man. Huh?
I said it's the same premise.
It's the same premise, dog. And like, I mean, I kind of want to go into a little bit. I know that there's going to be some youngsters I got, you know what I mean, that are going to be in your position. You know what I'm saying? Going to a big school, and they got a lot of attention right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what it's like being in high school, and you know that it's coming soon. Yeah. You don't know what to expect, so you're over there Googling. You're over there trying to find folks on social media that's going there. Yeah. You're trying to figure out, like, it's kind of, it's exciting, but it's a little bit of fear behind that too, because you're like, man, I don't know what's about to happen. What if I get a last minute offer to Alabama or something like that? Am I gonna go there?
Out of there.
Hey, you got a whole bunch of stuff in your mind though.
If you get that last minute offer from Bama, bro, just know you're gonna sit for 2 years.
You're gonna sit. You're gonna be sitting. And you gotta know that every situation not for you. Every situation not for you. And man, bro, kind of speak on, like, what would you say to, like, the youngsters that's like going into that new realm of life? You know, they maybe seniors and they know they're going. What would you say to them? Like, what was the thing you wish you knew back then?
Ooh, the thing that I wish I knew was that it's not the institution that you want to play for or the conference you want to play in. It's the coach.
Ooh, yeah.
The coach trumps everything. Yeah. So wherever that coach is that you have that relationship with, that recruited you to be interested in that institution, that's where your loyalty lies.
Facts.
Now, once you get in the mix at the institution, you have to then reassess and figure out what's your best way to get the most out of the situation you're in. But going into it, that's something I wish I knew, because
they're gonna leave.
They're gonna leave, and it happens every day.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing about college sports is when the head coach gets fired, everybody is fired.
Yep, they're gone.
So once that head coach goes that recruited you, it's a whole new staff coming in, and they bringing their guys in.
Yep.
So, and I told Carrie this story earlier. I was in that situation, and head coach that recruited me got fired. New coach came in with his own staff. So a year goes by with this new coach. He brings in a guy. I end up taking his spot and starting the rest of the season. We fired the OC at the end of that year, get a new OC. And the OC brings me in his office, and he asked me, you know, why do I think I'm not playing?
Yeah.
And I tell him straight up, I'm not playing because he didn't recruit me. He doesn't want to play anybody that he didn't recruit. He would rather lose his way than win with something that makes him contradict himself. Ego, right? And of course the OC is like, nah, man, he doesn't call me a liar, but he's like, no, coaches don't do that. Coaches want to win at all costs. So it's got to be something else. Long story short, 8 months later, when that head coach got fired and that OC lost his job, he called me in his office and told me that I was right.
Yep.
And the message in that is, and this is the reason why I say your loyalty is to coaches, not institutions, because it took for him to not have his job on the line anymore. This man already lost his job. He lost the way he fed his family in that moment in time. But that gave him the freedom to tell the truth.
It's crazy.
Because of the coach he was under.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. I mean,
it's happening every day.
You gotta know that as you go up into the ranks of anything, the more money involved, the more snakes involved. I mean, I don't no other way to put that, bro. There's no other way to put that. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
You go into a situation as a great person, you have great intentions, you're gonna be challenged to the point where they're gonna try to make you, you know, like, and I'm talking about the coaches, they're gonna make you try to bend your ethics a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because, like, as me as a coach, now I'm thinking of it from the coach front, because what you're saying, I'm thinking about coaches that thought like that. I had to really sit in staff meetings where it's like, man, y'all not gonna play this kid? Like, I know he better than this kid. Like, you know, like, I'll be in the room like, bro, all of y'all know that this is the best kid for the job, but we're not gonna give him a job because of that. Like, cause his mama is.
That's it, right? Look. I'll give you something that happened to me because I know it's certain things you can't disclose from a coach. You know what I'm saying? But this is what happened to me going into my senior year, right? I'm for all intents and purposes the starter going into my senior season. I get hurt in the spring game, right? I get hit below the knee, ACL, MCL, meniscus.
Yeah.
Gone. Right? The guy that hit me was a walk-on. So what you think happened to him?
Go.
Okay. Right. So what ends up happening is I end up just transitioning into a player coach that season, like we talked about.
Yes, sir.
He ends up getting put on scholarship.
Huh.
Right? And so going into that spring semester, I'm talking to the head coach all the time, and I'm like, I still got the messages, so I got the receipts. And I'm like, you know, I really want to get into coaching.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a GA position available, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm going to apply for it. He's like, don't worry about it, I got
you. Yeah.
Because he knew my whole story.
Yeah.
Right? So one GA position comes available that spring. Who do you think got that GA position?
Oh, he got it for sure.
He got it for sure. Come to find out, one of his parents is a prominent head coach in the state.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, it's all about those, they're thinking connections too.
Oh, 100%.
They're thinking connections too, and it's not right. It's not right, but as we talk about the money, these coaches are trying to keep their job. They trying to keep feeding their families, stay on a Division I level, FBS. They know, you know what I'm saying, Kansas over the years, I mean, you alumni, you notice the history. You know what I'm saying? They trying to make sure they winning. Like, it's you get up in there, you trying to win. And that's the same with, you know what I'm saying, a lot of other schools where cats will go and they are, I guess, charged with turning this program around.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I have to turn this program around. I got the alumni that I've promised something to. And then it's like, well, let's go with the money.
Yep.
Let's make sure we can secure the money.
They always going to go with the bag.
We're going to go with the bag.
They always going to go with the bag. And the messed up part is, no matter how detrimental it is to the athletes that are caught up in the mix, they're going to go with the bag.
Yeah.
And the only difference between myself and a lot of other people I've seen that happen to is because I had the foresight enough to make my plan so I was able to navigate through it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people cannot and are not able to do that.
Right.
So they just kind of fall by the wayside, and people look at the situation from the outside in, and they're like, man, he's not handling his business. He don't know what he's supposed to do. But you don't know, this man been getting lied to for 3.5 years.
Lied to, straight lied to his face all the time.
By grown men that are supposed to be his leaders.
Weekly. Coaches meetings, weekly. You sit in the coaches meeting, think that man telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He lying to you. And the thing is,
from a coach?
Man, from a coach. I'm keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it a buck. And the thing is that, you know, all coaches aren't bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all coaches are bad, but what I'm saying is when it comes to the money, when it comes to the security of jobs and things of that nature, you have to understand their job. They are doing a job. So, in reality, in the way we moving, you doing a job too as the athlete. Yeah. So you need to operate as such. You know what I'm saying? Protect your back.
Especially now with the NIL, like we were talking about earlier. That's a game changer for y'all. If the young athletes out there watching, now more than ever, you need to be managing your personal brand. So like all the crazy stuff people do on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff, even more so now, you really can't do that because that's going to hurt
the brand.
Your brand. It's all about the brand.
And you can build a brand. You can build a brand with great stuff. You can build a brand with positivity. You can build a brand with doing things like interviews. You can build a brand with wearing certain brands and getting money from it when you do get on that level and cutting contracts. You can do it, man.
I don't know what happened at the end of this game, but before we started, Tampa Bay was playing, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just say one. I know one of the mainstays of the TB12 brand is Deion Sanders' son.
Deion Sanders' son.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Game changer. He's a quarterback, starting quarterback at HBCU, but he's sponsored by Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
So that means everybody else that comes to the table, they got to bring that money.
They got to bring that money. You have to.
You have to.
You have to.
Because he can articulate himself. Granted, I mean, he's Deion's son and all that.
Yeah.
But if he wasn't able to articulate himself and represent himself in the Jackson State brand well, Tom wasn't coming with that money.
No. You got to see yourself as a business.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. When you see me, I'm business. Like, I'm not just going to run around here like I'm an athlete and I'm always going to be rocking sweatpants and I'm always going to be just like, talking reckless and speaking to professionals. However, I'm a professional. I am a professional. I conduct myself as a professional. I represent my brand. And when you see me come with my guys are all going to be around doing what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not keeping people in my circle that don't represent what I represent. And that's something that's hard for cats too, because you don't be knowing that you're guilty by association a lot of times. Like it's okay. Like you want to roll with Pookie Ray Ray and them cousins and whatnot, but you got to know
they need to be your cousins at the house.
At the house, because once you go out there and you represent yourself in a certain way on this camera, it's there forever.
It's there forever.
It's there forever. These cousins find out and go, oh, okay, this is what he on. Okay, then they treat you as such,
bro. When I was working, and I told you I got stories for days, so I don't mean to cut you off.
Bro, you good.
But bro, when I was working at the University of Kansas in the student athlete development department, there was a girl I knew on campus. I knew her little brother because he was an athletic trainer for us, right? So she interviewed and applied for a position in the student athlete development department. And she didn't get that position because of something she tweeted over a year ago.
Yeah.
So, like, if you think that what you're doing on social media is not going to follow you, you're mistaken. Because that was like 5 years ago.
Yep. They did it to Donald Trump. They do it to everybody, man. They do it to everybody. It's like anybody that puts something on the internet, you just have to be responsible and recognize that this can and will be used against you if it could be. For real. Like they can use it against you.
Think about your Miranda rights.
Man, think about your Miranda rights. Real talk, though. And that goes into being a professional because, you know what I'm saying, all professionals know what they can't do. Yeah. Like any successful professional knows exactly what I can't do. So that dictates what I do. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's something that we gotta, we just have to support. We have to support it because, like we said before, when you're an athlete, you rely on your body more often than not. you build your body, you do so many things, you kinesthetic, you have groups. There's a lot of supports you have built in. You get people around you that you think have your best interests when they may not necessarily have that. They just want to be along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people like riding coattails. So they'll be with you, riding you up the hill, and then once your butt start falling off, they go ghost.
They're gone.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you be sitting there like, dang, I thought y'all was my homies. Like I thought y'all was the ones. And then when it all fall down, it's just you and the people you really love. You know what I'm saying? And I think that keeping that in mind, it helps. Like it will help you in that situation because you know I got skills I'm gaining from this. Like I gotta keep all my money in my pocket that I'm receiving because a scholarship, an average scholarship, what, 50,000, something like that, 45,000 a year.
With room and board, yeah, probably.
Yeah, man, like it's opportunities out here, man.
Yeah.
So you gotta know what it is, man. But I had something else I wanted to address real quick.
Yeah.
So like, as far as we talked about team, we talked about self-belief and things like that. I see you as somebody that's you are an example for a lot of people, right? You're doing a lot of things now where you're trying to transcend and you're trying to build and help, you know what I mean, the others. Like you're trying to help others, which is amazing. We call that being a light over here, right? So how do you feel like it's gotten you to that point, and how can somebody unlock that light within them? Like how can, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm somebody that maybe I was an athlete, or maybe I'm not an athlete, maybe I'm somebody just like, I'm struggling to find my way. Like how do I unlock that light within myself to actually care to help others and like build something, like get a fire in me? Like what do you think takes for something like that to happen?
I think that it starts in the mind, and when you're talking about being a light to other people, you have to realize that somebody built that bridge for you.
Yeah.
No matter the path you're taking, somebody built that bridge for you, and they were that light. Whether you recognize them or not, they're the ones who illuminated the steps that you see before you. Because if they didn't, you wouldn't know where to go. So it's like once you take that path that they shine their light on to make available to you, at least mentally, and you go further than that, it's kind of your responsibility to then be a light to those who come after you so they can navigate the pitfalls that you did.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Very beautifully put. So this has been the Light Leadership Series. Mike, let them know where they can find you at, brother.
Man, you can find me on Instagram, Mike Real Sports Life, Twitter, MCTV1, YouTube, MCTV, LinkedIn, MC 2022.
Sir.
Look, it's all about professional development. You can tap into RSL University at, Real Sports Life University, at rsluniversity.com. We're here to stay. We're here to lead. We're here to be lights to the future generation, man.
Yes, sir. Any way we can help, we on board. We on board. I believe in the mission, man. And y'all make sure y'all follow us. Be a Light podcast page on YouTube. Make sure you follow the IG. You know what I'm saying? Be a light leader, right? Be a light leader. And man, we still giving y'all light content. Me and Mr. Michael Cummins, we're gonna definitely link up. I got you with the whole team. The whole team got to link up with you because, bro, this is a space that we in where there's not enough guys in it. Like there's guys that get into it and they get out of it because it's like, oh, I gotta go make some money. Like, nah, bro, like let's really build professionals from this thing that we've done for so long.
Yeah.
We can do it. Like we got it.
And this is the thing about, and I know we're trying to wrap up, but this is the thing about athletics that you have to realize is when you're that guy, like Kerry was and like I was, and even if you're not that guy, when you're one of the guys, you got to realize you've been getting monetized since you were 5, 6 years old. When they were selling those sodas and snacks at the concession stand, when people were coming to play or watch your games and paying admission to come sit in the stands and watch your games, whether it's your parents or your friends' parents, bro, you were getting monetized.
It was you.
It was you.
It was you.
They wasn't coming to watch an empty field. They was coming to watch you play.
Yep.
So you've been getting monetized since you was 5 or 6. So why wouldn't you now tap into some people who are trying to show you how to monetize your own talents? Nah, I'm just saying. It's a no-brainer to me.
It's a no-brainer.
But we older, we have more perspective and oversight on the topic because we didn't have that opportunity. So we see the value in it.
Exactly.
This is every day to these young kids, but
we gonna reach them, man. We gonna reach them. We gonna put the medicine in the candy jar, so to speak.
Yeah.
We gonna get them. But man, we gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us, and make sure y'all be light.
Recording stopped.
We gotta get like a remote control or something.
No, definitely gotta get a remote control.